Well, I'm very excited today to have Dr. Kristy Harvell on Ardra the Pink Print. For some of you that do not know, Ardra the Pink Print was created for anybody that was wanting to give up, willing to give up, or looking for a sign. This is your pink sign. I'm so excited to have you here, Dr. Kristy. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I know, it's such a pleasure. And you've been like on the top of my top 10 list, like Dr. K, Dr. K. So I'm gonna get right into it. And I know I gave you a little bit of an intro, but I'm just gonna say it. You are actually one of my heroes. And when I say hero, I'm going to explain. When we first met, I think you've been treating me for at least 4 to 5 years now. I can't even remember. I was at my wit's end with my health. As many people know, I travel extensively, and my body, my adrenals, they had just put out. I was just inflamed on the inside, so to speak. And I was going doctor to doctor, and no one could help me. So I finally said, hell, I'm going to go to a holistic doctor. And I came to you, Dr. Kristy, and within 3 weeks, I was back to normal. So thank you for assisting me with getting my life back.
You're welcome. And that was pretty fast results.
That was a fast result. Well, we realized that it was sugar in my supplements, right? And my adrenals had it. They were done with me. So I just, there's so much I want to know about you. I do see you as one of the leading women, and now that you and your husband have established yourselves here, you are one of the leading women in Jacksonville. What motivates you?
I know, that's a fun question. I think I might just be a little bit crazy.
If you ain't crazy, it ain't gonna happen, right?
Right. There's always that. Well, isn't motivation kind of like an internal thing, right? Like I think about this a lot because people talk to me about, wow, you're a workaholic, you just, have one success and then move right on to what's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So that's kind of just always been my personality style, but it just motivates me to make a change. What we do is very rewarding in and of itself because like you just shared your testimony and story, other people share theirs, and it just makes you want to keep going and reaching more and more people. So, it's very like self-rewarding work that we do.
Would you say that you're serving?
Yeah, I would say that, definitely.
That's great. That's what I heard when you were speaking. You're like, you're serving the Jacksonville community. How did you actually get started, Dr. Kristy?
Like in Jacksonville or way back when?
Wait, when you became and I haven't even introduced you properly. Tell us about yourself.
Well, if I tell you about myself, that'll kind of bring you back a little bit.
Okay.
So, I am from upstate New York, from the Finger Lakes. And so I practiced up there for 12 and a half years. And then I've only been in Jacksonville for 5. So we kind of started over again. But, I was like a little nerd in school, like going back to like middle school and high school. Like I loved all the math and sciences, and I always took extra courses. And my senior year, I had completed most of my graduation requirements. So I got to do a really cool program called New Visions. And I actually spent half my day at the hospital in Geneva, New York, shadowing doctors and going from all the different departments. I saw babies being born and I saw surgeries. And so, my interest in the human body and becoming a doctor came really early on. So I think that's a little unusual. Sometimes people don't know. They go through 4 years of undergrad, liberal arts, and still don't know what they want to do. But my path was pretty clear to me, except that I thought I was going to do traditional medicine. And then, like I think a lot of people in alternative medicine, most people have had their own story about having to heal themselves, or some kind of healthcare crisis that had them have to figure things out and look at other alternatives. And so, I have my own health story that led me on this journey of becoming a chiropractor and studying nutrition and bringing all the alternative type practices that have formed my practice today.
Wow. And for many people that do not know on this call is that you're a chiropractor and you also practice muscle testing. What is the proper name for muscle testing?
Well, kinesiology is the big, long, fancy word, which is using muscle testing as a non-invasive way to find out what's happening inside the body. And then within kinesiology, there's several different specialties. And so the one that we specialize here in the office at Health by Design is called nutrition response testing.
Nutrition response testing. And that's how you found out when I'm traveling, when my adrenals are down or things of that nature, is that response. And it's energy that flows through you, or I should say flows through your patient to you, correct?
Right, as far as how the technique works. Yep.
Right.
So, your body, it's really studying the strength of your nervous system, and then your nervous system is very sensitive and can respond to things energetically and knows when something comes into your body or even around your body, whether it improves your overall health and well-being or if it kind of detracts from it. And so that's what the muscle test shows us.
So my question is, I'm a believer. I'm a believer because I feel like you're a healer and I was healed, honey.
That's right. Well, if you have a personal experience, that makes the belief system a little higher, right?
It does, right. I got receipts, and I get a receipt every month. So my next question is, for those people that think, Dr. Kristy, that this is woo-woo, how do you explain it to them, or how do you make a believer out of them?
I know. Well, muscle testing, it is really one of those things that I think even for an expert and the practitioner like myself, that sometimes it is hard to just describe in words. It's one of those things that it's so much easier if the person can experience the muscle test in their own body.
Right.
But as far as woo-woo, I think people tend to think things are woo-woo if it's not the normal or the ordinary or just what they're used to, right? So,
right.
To keep an open mind, but for the patients that seek us out, I always say, our motto is weird works. So I'm like, yes, I acknowledge the fact that this is unusual. I admit to it. We embrace it wholeheartedly. We're totally comfortable being the weirdos on the block because we know we get a result. So I would say that, if it didn't work, then it would just be weird. But since we get a result, it's okay to use the unusual. And really, that's why the woo-woo or alternative medicine came into existence in the first place, was because we know there are shortcomings in medicine. Traditional medicine cannot handle everything. And it's then when medicine doesn't have an answer that we need to start looking outside of the box.
I hear you. But if you think about traditional medicine in a whole, it took a little woo-woo to come up with the penicillin, to come up with, some of the antibiotics and things of that nature of practice, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you stop and think about some of the things that we've adopted as normal or, in the traditional medicine world, I'll challenge a lot of those procedures and techniques as weirder than what we do for sure, and a lot more dangerous with a lot more side effects. So it just really has to do with your background, your understanding, your open-mindedness, and also how important is it to you to get a result. So, a lot of people are willing to throw the woo factor out the window and just say, I don't care, I need help. And then they're open to coming because, a lot of people that have come to us have already been everywhere else and sought other experts and gotten other opinions and had every test under the sun to not come up with a result. So,
yeah, absolutely.
That woo goes out the window when somebody really is desperate to get help.
It's true. And I'm one of those people. I was like, you know what? I don't care. Choke a chicken. I don't know. Whatever boom shakalaka you have to do it, because I feel that bad. And I have been thriving ever since from coming to you. So again, thank you. We haven't touched on the chiropractic. I love me some cracking.
I know. I won't tell the audience what I call you, but they can guess.
They can't know. I love a good wig fall.
Yeah, I have been known to knock Audra's wig off her head for a good adjustment.
I love it. I love a good wig slip only at Health by Design. That's the only time I'll accept it. That's so funny.
We have like special permissions with you.
Yes. That's when we know we're gonna have a good day. Did my wig hit the floor or not? Right?
Yeah.
So chiropractic, I'm always amazed. I try to do my due diligence and come in at least twice a month, but I'm not always a good girl. And we're going to touch on women in health in a second. However, whenever you crack my neck, or I don't even know if crack is the right word to use, Dr. Kristy, but whenever I get adjusted to the right, I can hear better out of my right ear. I can't explain it, and then tears flood my eyes every single time. Why is that? I need to know.
I know, that's a good question, because I think people are used to thinking about chiropractic in the very limited sense of a modality to help with neck pain, back pain, headaches, or something you only go to if you get injured, right? So like, I'll introduce myself at a party or at a networking event and say I'm a chiropractor, and then the first thing most people will say back to me is, well, I have never needed a chiropractor. And I'm sitting there like, how do you know that you never needed a chiropractor?
Right.
So
you need a chiropractor.
You do. And if I explain what Ardra was just explaining, you know, the result of the chiropractic, she says she hears better. It brings tears to her eyes. And then like a lot of people will say they just feel lighter, like they might not really be able to put words on it to explain how they feel. But it's because of the impact on your nervous system, right? So your nervous system controls every organ and cell in your entire body, right? Your brain is like the master command center. And the way it communicates out to every organ and cell in your body is through the spinal column, which is exactly what chiropractors work on. So when I adjust your spine, and that's what it's doing, is just restoring the communication out to the proper channels so that your ears can work better, your eyes can work better, your stomach can work better, or whatever area of the spine we're working in, whatever that nerve controls as far as function in the body is going to experience better communication and function the way it was designed to with ease. So that what you're feeling is an autonomic nervous system response. Some people might get hot or a little sweaty. You know, they might feel just kind of like clearer thinking. It's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, and it feels really good.
It does feel good. So we do.
It feels amazing.
For us too.
It's addicting. Yeah. So I think we get the gist of what you do. With the muscle testing and the chiropractic, and how great it is for your body, and how important it is to, I would like to call it maintenance. Would you call it maintenance?
It can be, yeah. So it just really depends on the individual and what they are, what their body's needing and what kind of program they need to be on. So the ultimate goal is for people to get to some kind of maintenance level of care where, like you, they don't need to be coming in multiple times a week or anything like that, but they've gotten some level of corrective care. We've gotten them better than where they were when they walked in the door, but now we want to maintain those results, because let's face it, life will always try to pull you off your game, right? There's always stressors and other things that are going to unravel the health of your nervous system. You know, there's toxins in the world. Maybe we don't always eat right. Stress in general, like people don't really think that emotional stress can actually make your back go out of alignment. So how much stress is in the world today right now?
Let's not even go there. I mean, you told me I only had a short time for this interview.
Yeah. She's like, don't get me started.
Gotcha. Got it. I so got it. And I just visualized it. I'm going to switch the topic on you real quick. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Us being women, and working around a lot of women, and I'm around a lot of high-powered CEOs, entrepreneurs. Why don't we take care of ourselves?
Well, I think that it's human nature, right? Like, if the body was really screaming at you, then you would do something about it. Like, you know, but unfortunately, the subtle signs of poor health is a slippery slope. Like, it's a slow and gradual process. So if it was something glaring where like you're fully functioning and then you get in a traumatic accident and you lose the function of like an arm, you're like, okay, I got to go to physical therapy or do this something, you start implementing an emergency action plan so that you can do your life. But when it's just slow, gradual, subtle, like maybe I'm not sleeping as great, my energy's a little low, I notice like in the mid-afternoon I'm having to rely on caffeine or more like high carb type quick fuel burning things, and like there's a little bit of ache, but I can kind of ignore it. So I think we ignore things, right, when it's not that detrimental. We don't listen to those slow little early warning signs. And then if you compound that human nature with the fact that we've been taught to numb our pain, and even maybe sometimes self-medicate, whether that's with food or caffeine or, taking a pain reliever, sometimes those things get annoying enough where we're like, okay, I need to do something about this because I can't work and drive all day with a headache. So you numb it. And so we keep on this path of ignoring and numbing, and then finally the body loses its communication with you. And then the next thing is going to be a bigger alarm system, right? We don't start listening until the bells really go off, until we can't do our day anymore. And so we really, that's the preventative, more proactive model, is what we're trying to teach people, is that you're going to have a lot better choices. You're going to spend a lot less money, and it's going to be a lot more manageable with something natural and non-invasive if you would get to it earlier on in the progression of disease and ill health. But I think that people take their health for granted, and we're all just busy. So it's kind of like, if you don't know, there's not a clear path and a clear answer, and it's not all laid out for you being a busy, businesswoman, then, you got to give people an action step too. Otherwise it's just this big pie in the sky idea, like, yeah, I need to be healthier and lose weight and eat better. But if it's not laid out and step by step, and you're already busy and overtaxed and stressed and overwhelmed, it's just something that you can't fathom even being able to achieve, right?
Right. Wow, Dr. Kristy, I think you hit all the nails on the head. I've learned now, 2020, COVID, loss of a parent, and many other things that you probably already know about. For me personally, I've learned that I come first in my health. Now it comes first. I do, my corporate job is a multi-billion-dollar company in a multi-billion-dollar industry. But if I'm no good, if I'm not functioning, if I'm not preventing or having my maintenance, I can't fully perform anywhere, in any aspect of my life, right?
Right. It's so true. But, oftentimes people have to go through some losses, unfortunately, to realize that they need to do things differently and that they do need to put themselves first, right?
Exactly. And I'm hoping that whoever this conversation reaches, that they don't learn the hard way, learn to do preventative health. You don't want to have to go through a life tragedy and then start your maintenance, start your life now, right?
Right. And if it's not our own story, like if we won't listen to our own stubborn selves, then maybe we could learn from somebody else's story. So I venture to say that everybody listening has known somebody who's had a health crisis where suddenly, their whole world was rocked, and were they prepared for that? And what would they have done differently if they knew that stroke or a cancer diagnosis or, some kind of chronic illness was going to come? What would they have done better to better prepare for it? So we can learn by listening to other people and developing a curiosity and asking other people what they've been through,
Absolutely. Tell your story, share your story. I started out at Estee Lauder, and Estee Lauder would say, if you tell a woman, you tell the world.
Yeah. Right.
It's true. Right. So you recently, I like to say, graduated to a bigger, gorgeous practice. because you have business coming out of your ears. And I don't even know how you keep up with that. People, when I come into the office, it's like a, you know, all aboard like a choo-choo train. Everybody's going through the train station, and it's well oiled. How does someone become a patient of Dr. Kristy? Are you even accepting patients now?
Yeah, we are. We have additional practitioners and associates so that we can handle the influx, because usually by the time people call us, they don't have a lot of time to wait around to get better. They've already been on a road of trying to heal their body and are over it. So we need to get them in and scoop them up and be able to help them. But yeah, just by calling the office or going on the website, you can request an appointment either way.
Great. Thank you for letting us know that. I have another burning question for you.
Okay.
Is the foot bath. I did the foot bath. I was so disgusted. I was too embarrassed to ever do it again.
Oh no!
It was so disgusting. I was like, why is it black? Tell us about it.
Okay, so what Ardra is talking about is it's called the ionic foot bath, and it's used in the office to help promote detoxification. But like she's describing, you actually get a visual effect, because while your feet are sitting in a tub of warm water, the technology of the equipment will start to pull toxins out through the pores of your feet. And so you get the visual appearance because it just kind of accelerates the natural process of what happens naturally when you sweat. Your sweat glands or your pores, you know, you're always eliminating toxins, but this magnifies it. So you see the effect and the impact in the water. So unfortunately, she was scared away from it, but most people are motivated. Like, I gotta keep. How many of these do I need to do before the water gets clear?
I was embarrassed of myself.
Okay, I always tell people better out than in. So while you might not like to see it forces you to kind of confront it, right? Like you see this and you're like, gosh, I need to do something to detox or to prevent toxic accumulation in the body. So I think that sometimes is the discomfort with it is like, you're like, whoa, it's a kind of a whoa factor. And now
I'm like, I maybe I should. I just need a bath. Do I need a bath? Just lay in it.
Doesn't mean you're dirty. We all carry toxins in our body. Toxins are way more evident in our world than people would think.
It's true. Right now, even in my house is clean, but I know there's toxins everywhere, probably from some of the certain products that I use to clean with, or something that I ate, or not having proper, relieving of, drinking plenty of water and detoxifying my body that way. So, Dr. Kristy, before I get into my surprise 5 steps that I put everybody on, what is it that you want people to know?
Just if I only could tell people one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard because I am an educator, and there's so many different things that we do.
And you're doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, if there was one thing that I could say, I would hope that this one phrase would implore your audience to not give up and to keep searching for answers, even if they hadn't yet gotten a resolution of some kind of chronic illness or some kind of health issue that's holding them back, even if it's not a crisis type of a situation, but they just know that they could feel a lot better, and they're kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired. The one thing that I think I would say to people is that there is hope and your body can heal. It's never too late to help the body heal. That's what I would say.
Your body can heal. Oh, that's that sweet Dr. Kristy coming out. I love that. I felt that.
Good.
So before we end, you have to give us your 5 steps to better health.
5 steps.
Yes.
Okay. Number one. You know that I do clinical nutrition, so we could talk about nutrition for like a whole week long, but
yes.
I could tell you one thing for diet. that would apply to almost everybody, regardless of their condition, situation, body structure, or whatever, would be to start getting rid of the sugar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Number 2, I would tell everybody that this is a big one. So number 1 is big too, right? Sugar. Number 2 is stress. So that's not easy because I realized that we already were pushing and grinding before COVID happened, and now we actually measure people's stress age in the office, and from doing nothing different other than just living in this new world, people's age has accelerated 5 to 10 years on average across the board. So something to help with stress, and that might be different for everybody. It might be going for a walk. It might be breathing exercises. It might be turning off the social media or the news. It might be making time to socialize with friends. It might be, just meditating or getting quiet or prayer or reading nonfiction or reading fiction. You know what I'm saying? So you guys have to figure out what it is for you that would de-stress you. Taking a bubble bath, whatever. Okay, so sugar, stress. Let's keep on the sleep. You have to sleep. All the time people come in and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you think you're surviving on 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night? Like, clearly that's not enough to recover. So,
oh my gosh, yeah. I think naps are sexy. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but naps are sexy to me.
Yeah, you have to be sleeping. And we have a whole lecture on insomnia and sleep on the YouTube. So you guys, I'm giving you bullet points here, but there's free information on each of these categories in detail on our YouTube channel. So maybe Ardra can drop that for you. It's all free. Like, we just put so much info out there.
You do.
Sugar, stress, sleep, hydration.
Number 4.
Hydration is important. So, in order of importance, your body is 2/3 water. The earth is 2/3 water. You got to have to kind of take the evidence around you to realize the importance. Like, if water wasn't that important, we wouldn't be mainly made up of water. So hydration is only water. It does not, if you have coffee or tea or something else, that actually increases the amount of water that you need. So it has to be water. And it can be flavored with lemon or essential oils or electrolytes, but it can't have any sugary junk in it.
Got it.
So what's 4? Am I up to 4?
You're at number 5 now, ma'am. You're on a roll.
And the 5th one, I can only have 5. This is so hard. Stress, sugar, sleep, hydration. Your body was made to move. So as a chiropractor, I have to tell you that getting some amount of exercise, even if it's just getting up and moving around and taking a couple steps during the day, we understand people think their bodies always wear out from, pain and repetitive motion and activity and physical stress. But actually, a lot of times people's bodies rust out, meaning from being too sedentary. We have computer jobs. We drive, like Ardra, you travel all the time. You're confined to like a small space a lot of the time. So you gotta get moving. Your body was made to move. So I think those are my top 5.
Dr. Kristy, I thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're right here with all of us. I want to thank you for choosing to be a practitioner. And again, because of you, I'm thriving. Thank you for being one of God's healers. And I'm just so grateful for you. And I'm grateful that you again took the time to speak with us. Where can we find you? I know you have a YouTube channel. Where else are you?
We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. So all of our handles are at Health by Design FL, as in Florida. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We have a website, healthbydesignfl.com, with a lot of free information and testimonials and links. So if you don't want to take it from me, just take it from other people like Ardra. And Ardra, I want to thank you for being a testimonial and being willing to share your story and pay it forward to tell other people that there's another entire form of healthcare out there, and there's another way to live, and people don't know what they don't know. So thank you for finding it important enough to share this information with your audience. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, my love. Thank you, Dr. Kristy. I'll see you next week.
All right, be here.
Bye.
Bye.